Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to talk about character traits. So, what are character traits? Here we go. Let me start my presentation. So, a character trait's a word that describes a character's personality. So, let's think about Little Red Riding Hood and we think about the wolf. The wolf was sneaky, right? He tried to trick Little Red Riding Hood. So, sneaky would be a word that describes the wolf's personality. So, here's some examples of character traits. A person can be brave, for example, a fireman. A person can be kind or bossy or honest. These are examples of words. They're called adjectives, describing words that describe a character. Now, we can't confuse character traits with a feeling. So I might have a character that's afraid. Maybe she might be afraid of getting on a roller coaster, but she's afraid only for like 2 minutes. That's not part of her real personality. Afraid would be a feeling she's feeling temporarily. A character trait is a word that describes a character, and that character's always that way. So the wolf in Little Red Riding Hood, he's not sneaky just 2 minutes. He's always a sneaky person. That's his personality. So that's why sneaky would be a character trait that describes him. I can't say angry because he might be angry for 3 minutes and then all of a sudden he's happy. So is he angry all the time? No. So that would be more of a feeling and not a character trait. So out of all these words right here, a character trait, which these are all feelings, okay? Happy, tired, scared, surprised. These are all feelings. They're not character traits. They're not words that describe a character's personality all the time. So, when you look at these words, excited, selfish, angry, skinny, honest, creative, which ones of these words are character traits that would describe how a character always is? Think about excited. Is a character always excited? No. Is a character always angry or a person? No. Can a person be selfish? For the most part, there are people that are selfish and they're just always selfish, right? What about honesty? A person that's honest. Would you describe that as a person that's always, for the most part, honest, or are they honest for 5 minutes and then they're not honest? If they're honest for 5 minutes, then reality is they're not really honest, right? So when we look at these words, the words that describe character traits here are selfish, honest, and creative, because excited and angry, those are feelings. And skinny describes a person on the outside, which is a separate lesson we will do on external character traits. But today we're talking about the inside, internal traits that describe a character's personality. Okay? So, how do we know if a character what trait describes the character? One thing that we do is we look at the character's actions. So if a character consistently acts a certain way, then that can point to a noticeable character trait. If a character is continuously kind and nice, then we know that kind would be a word that describes the character. So, for example, here it says Cassie's grandparents gave her money for her birthday. Cassie decided that the families at the crisis shelter needed food more than she needed a new toy. So she donated her money to the crisis shelter. A character trait that I can infer is based on Cassie's actions and the fact that she donated her money, right? What word would describe her? That's the word we're looking for character. And the word is Cassie is generous. There it is. She's generous, right? Because how do I know that? Based on her actions. That would be my evidence based on what she did. Another way to identify a character trait is by looking at the dialogue. Dialogue is what the characters say. So you need to watch for patterns in what the character says to other people. So for example, even though Madeline was already talking, Sadie interrupted her to tell her classmates the story of what happened to her over the weekend. Later, she told Bree that her sweater looked old and ugly. So, a character trait that I can infer is what word describes Madeline? Well, let's see. She rudely interrupted her friend. Then she told another person that her sweater looked old and ugly. Would she be nice? Would she be happy? What word describes her based on dialogue on the things that she said? That would be rude. She's a rude person based on dialogue. She told another girl that she looked old and ugly. And a third way of figuring out a character trait is what is the character thinking? So you want to watch for patterns in what the character thinks. And here's an example. Brian decided that he wanted to earn money during his summer vacation. He determined that he could mow 4 lawns a day. He hung a poster in his neighborhood, and soon his phone was ringing nonstop. A character trait that I can infer or I can guess is what word describes Ryan? Well, what word would it be? Brian is ambitious. That means he's motivated. He wants to make money. He wants to work hard. Okay. So this concludes the lesson for character traits. Remember that character traits describe a character's personality. It's not a feeling. So please do not mistaken a character trait for a feeling. It's their personality. How are they most of the time? Are they usually kind? Are they usually rude? Are they usually mean? Are they usually honest or sneaky? Because character traits can be positive and they can be negative. So hope you learned about character traits. Now go to the next slide so you can see what your next step is. Bye.